plenty, but underneath is a picture of Eddie. This is Trunk Nation, home for all things rock.
100% live, 100% real.
News, interviews, and everything you want to talk about in the world of rock. Here's your host, the one, the only, Eddie Trunk. SiriusXM Faction Talk.
We are at a midweek Wednesday. It is time for Trunk Nation. Faction Talk 103 or the SiriusXM app. We are live daily, 3 to 5 Eastern, noon to 2 Pacific. So if that's what you're looking at, you're listening to a live show, and that always means you can call in and get involved in it at 844-686-5863. We got a lot of people that listen on delay on the app, so welcome to those folks as well. Occasionally, we'll do some email stuff to try to get those folks involved in the program. Probably been a little while since we've done that, but be doing it, I would think, probably towards the end of the month. We'll start working in some emails. I got a show or two that I'm going to have to pre-record, so that's usually a good opportunity to do that. But we're live today on what is the 18th day of February, 2026, and love to have you involved in the program. And we will have time for your calls a little bit later on. Today on the show, my not old buddy, I've known about 5 years now, but my friend Criss Angel is dropping by. Legendary magician. He's had an incredible run that continues here in Vegas, where he does a nightly show called Mind Freak at Planet Hollywood. But as you know, Criss is a massive rock fan. And he has a big event coming up where he's going to be doing shows with Alice Cooper. We've had them both on individually to talk about this. Criss is dropping by, and he'll be in studio with me here in a little bit to give an update on how those shows are going and what the production looks like and what the latest is on that. They just did some rehearsals and run-throughs here in Vegas. Alice just left town the other day. Otherwise, we would have grabbed him as well to come on. But this is a pretty cool, interesting thing they're doing together. I don't think anything like it's ever been done before. And we'll get an update now with the show starting in like 2 weeks or less, is exactly how it's shaping up. Most of the shows are sold out, but Criss will update us on that. There may be a show or two that is still available, so we'll see about that. But looking forward to catching up with him for a little bit. And the other thing with Criss that I want to talk to him about while he's here, I don't think he'll be here for the whole show, but while he's here, is don't forget, he did, if you saw the Kennedy Center honors this year, Criss did the KISS induction. At least he was a big part of it. And he came out on stage and did that tribute to Ace and all of that. So he has a tight connection to the KISS camp, and it'll be interesting to get some thoughts from him on that and what went on around that and how that was for him, which I'll certainly touch on. And if you got a call for him and you want to say hello, we can always take some calls for him as well. He will be here shortly. He has a little bit of time for us today, and then he's got to get on to some other things in his day. He is immersed in not only doing his own nightly show, but also ramping up for this Alice Cooper mashup that he's doing, where Alice will come out with his full band and play songs incorporating Criss's magic and illusions around it. It's going to be wild. I can't wait to see it myself. Unfortunately, I can't see it the opening weekend because I'm going to be on the road, but I will definitely catch one of the shows before they wrap up, and we'll see where they go from Vegas, if it's something that ends up going on the road or they add more shows. Challenge being Alice's schedule, Criss's schedule, but this should be a pretty cool limited engagement when they kick it off in a couple weeks. We'll get a little update on that shortly. Before he gets here and we go to that, and I'll also let you know shortly about what we're doing tomorrow. I saw Carrot Top the other night. He had an idea for a show he wanted to do. You know, he had the idea for the Heaven's House Band deal. He had another idea he wanted to do, kind of a take on a Mount Rushmore idea, which we've done before. I'm waiting to hear from him if he's going to be available to sit in with us on it tomorrow. If he's not, we may still do a call-in show, but he wanted to do this one specific idea. I'll probably know by the end of the show if he's able to do it tomorrow, and we can, in the second hour, figure out what we're going to do on that front. for tomorrow's show, but it'll definitely be something cool and something phone driven. Yesterday Scorpions announced yet another residency later this year here in Vegas. And Joel had said, and I know you guys have been calling about doing a Scorpions top 10 forever. And Joel said we should maybe look to do that now that they've done this residency. I do want to do that. But as I mentioned previously, what I'd like to do is see, and I can't say for sure, but see about Scorpions sitting in with us when we do that. Because every single time every single time Scorpions have done Vegas, they've done this show. They've sat in the studio with me. We've had great hangs with those guys. So they're always welcome to do that, of course. But I thought it would be really cool to see if we could do something along those lines with those guys like we did with Tesla when they were in, and that was the only band we ever had members of the band sitting in while you guys called in a top 5 or top 10 of their songs, and they would evaluate the songs. And I thought that was really cool and different and not something you could do all the time. So I have no idea if the Scorpions guys would be down with it or not. But the residency they announced yesterday is, I believe, in September. So I'd rather wait on Scorpions and try to do it with them. And when we get closer to them coming here, I'll reach out to them and see if they're open for it. And then we could do something really cool with that and have those guys in. Probably that would only be the second time ever that we had the band actually involved. Actually, we did a Metallica one once, and Lars called in. But Lars would not rank his own songs. He was like, they're like my kids, I can't do that. It's just too weird. So I get it. But he did come in. I think it was a Throwdown that he commented on. I think it was before. Joel, were you with me then? I don't remember if that was.
Yeah, I was. And I think it was a Throwdown. It must have been back in like 2022 or 2021 when I was still kind of new with the show. But I was with us. I remember it. And I think it was a Throwdown.
Yeah, because I think now that I think about it, it was Ride the Lightning versus Master of Puppets. And it was close, if I remember. And we asked Lars to call in with some thoughts. He wouldn't pick between the two records. So they were both like his kids, so he couldn't do it. But I do remember one of the things I pointed out to him, because in that Throwdown pairing, the natural immediate one is, it's Master of Puppets, way bigger record, right? Well, when we dug in on that, what was interesting is that they actually play more songs live from Ride the Lightning than Master of Puppets on a regular basis. Now, of course, the song Master of Puppets is played pretty much every Metallica show ever since the record came out. But there was a wider scope of stuff played from Ride the Lightning because Metallica has stats on their website of like every set list they ever did and every show they ever did, like to great detail. So I remember we found that and looked it up, and Lars was kind of surprised by that when I brought it up to him on the air, I remember. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, it was super close as far as, where people fell on that. No question, Ride the Lightning is Puppets is a way bigger record in terms of sales and commercial success. But Ride the Lightning had more songs that were played live by Metallica on a regular basis. So I thought that was a really interesting thing regarding that. So anyway, if we do something with Scorpions, it might be it's always cool if you can actually get a band that wants to engage like that and get involved in that. So we'll see if we can shoot for that later on this year around their next residency, which I think is their 4th, which was announced yesterday. Same theater in Planet Hollywood.
Okay, so it was Master of Puppets versus Ride the Lightning, and it was in May of 2022.
Yeah, and Lars definitely did call in. I do remember that. Maybe that's something we replay one day, too. Could be cool. And now that I'm just thinking about talking about Scorpions and their next residency, that was when I first met Chris Angel, who's coming in here any minute. Because he reached out to me because Chris is from New York and grew up in New York, and he used to listen to me on the radio in New York. And he, I think he used to watch the old TV show or whatever. And he reached out to me because at that time he was launching a different new show at his theater, which is also in Planet Hollywood. And I remember before Scorpions came on, that was the first Scorpions residency. I remember Skid Row were opening. That was their first ever show with their singer at the time, Eric Gronwall, who they're now trying to replace as we speak. But I remember we had Chris on in the open. Then the Skids came on for a segment, and they had introduced everybody to Eric for their first show that night, opening for Scorpions. And then Scorpions came on. And we remember we had a audience in the lobby of that theater. So I'm just remembering all that. Pretty crazy. Time just flying by, zipping by. All right, so anyway, I'm going to hit you with some news right now while we wait for Chris to show up. And if he walks in while I'm in the middle of news, I'll hold this until after he's gone and then finish it. I'll see if we can get through all of it. But speaking of Metallica, nice honor for those guys as they are going to be honored by the Red Cross. Metallica does amazing charity work for their All Within My Hands Foundation. And they are always donating money to incredible causes. And they work with the Red Cross in conjunction with the Red Cross on these donations and helping with disaster relief and all that stuff that the Red Cross does. So the Red Cross are now honoring Metallica. The event will happen in the San Francisco Bay Area, and it will be on March 21st. It is a black tie event. I'm not sure if it's open to the public or not, but a nice acknowledgement and a deserved acknowledgement by the for the Metallica guys by the Red Cross. What else can I tell you? The Bourbon and Beyond Festival was announced. That happens in Louisville. I actually went to that one time a number of years ago for a TV shoot, and we lasted a day, and then the whole thing got rained out. But I know that they've moved the site that they were doing it on in Kentucky to a different site that handles weather a little bit better, so I think they've been in the clear on that in recent years. This year's Bourbon and Beyond will take place September 24th through 27th. It is a mixed sort of lineup of music. It's not exclusively a rock event. It will this year though on the rock event. On the rock side it'll feature Foo Fighters, Queens of the Stone Age, Dave Matthews Band among the rock representation. This is kind of surprising. Out of nowhere, U2 released a new EP today. Pretty amazing. A band of their stature, a major band, just dropping an EP of 5 new songs today. 5 new songs and 1 piece of poetry. This is in advance of a new U2 album, a full album that is expected to come later this year. And there is some charitable component to this EP as well. And Larry Mullen, the band's drummer, is a part of it. As you may know, Larry Mullen Jr. did not play recent U2 shows when they did that long run here in Vegas at the Sphere because he was dealing with physical ailments. But he is part of this recording. There's a quote in the press release from him about making the record. U2, one of the rare bands when Larry is part of it that is actually all original members. So if you're a U2 fan, a bit of a surprise today for you guys to check out. Again, it's called Days of Ash. Exodus with a new record coming March 20th. Today they released another track from it called Goliath. Not sure how many of you guys are familiar with the band Cactus. They were one of several bands that Carmine Appice was part of back in the early 70s. A pretty influential band, heavy blues rock sort of vibe. They have reunited for a new record called Temple of Blues. April 3rd, it'll be released. And it is loaded with special guests. Those guests include Ted Nugent, Billy Sheehan, Bumblefoot, Pat Travers, Steve Morse, Tracy Guns, Joe Lynn Turner, Rudy Sarzo, and Testament guitarist Alex Skolnick. So a ton of special guests on a new record from Cactus, featuring, of course, Carmine Appice. April 3rd, the release date for that. And, there's been this chatter going around, and I saw this transcribed on Blabbermouth, about Alex Van Halen and a potential posthumous release of Eddie Van Halen recordings that he and his brother made, obviously prior to Edward Van Halen passing away. Now, we know that there is this vault of material, and we know that most fans are itching for box sets and unreleased stuff to come out. Well, the thing about this, from what I can figure out, Alex Van Halen did an interview with an outlet in Brazil. And what he said is, this is recent material that would have been, I guess, the next Van Halen record if they'd ever made one. Because he does say in the interview that the bass on these recordings is played by Wolfgang Van Halen. So this is later period stuff that they were working on in hopes of releasing a follow-up, I guess, to A Different Kind of Truth at one point. Now, the recordings are not completely done, so they have brought in Steve Lukather to add some guitar parts. Steve Lukather is obviously an incredibly celebrated guitar player who's played on every recording you could imagine, and of course is best known for being in Toto. But Steve Lukather was close friends with the Van Halen brothers, and of course, would jam and had this great friendship with Eddie Van Halen. So he is the logical, natural guy for them to bring in to fill in some of the holes, I would think. Luke would be the first to tell you he does not play anything like Eddie Van Halen, nor will he try to play like that. But because of the connection, because of the relationship and the friendship, he is the right guy to come in and fill in any missing spots on this recording. So this is something that was kind of rumored and is something that is very much in the works, apparently. I don't think there's any definitive release date for this just yet. It's still being talked about. But the other interesting thing about this will it inspire Alex Van Halen to dig more into the vaults and maybe give us more stuff from the past, recent, mid-period, whatever it may be. I mean, Wolf told us that the stuff exists. And he said that it's all there. It's just got to be gone through, and it's daunting. And I don't know what the condition of it is, how much of it's labeled. If they're old tapes, sometimes they have to be restored. There's a process where if you're actually dealing with tapes where they call it baking, where you literally bake the tapes, you put them in an oven. Talking about like old 2-inch reel-to-reel tape, and it restores the tape, believe it or not. It's an odd thing, but it's actually true. You actually take the tape and done under supervision, you put it in this extreme heat in an oven, and it somehow reconstitutes the tape. So I don't know, what's digital, what's on tape, what they need to do, but man, you could imagine the treasure trove of stuff sitting there in 5150. And the crazy thing is, almost all of it was lost because when they had those horrible fires in LA a year ago or so, apparently where 5150 was in the area of some of those fires. So I think we talked to Wolf about that when he was on with us last, because they did get a few things out of there while the fires were approaching. But thankfully, 5150 was saved and that stuff was not damaged. So we'll see what happens here. But here's the good thing, just in closing on the Van Halen stuff. if you're a VH fan, as most of us are, we are finally seeing some stuff coming down the pipeline. I mean, for the longest time, we got nothing. So you got to like the momentum here. You got a ton of reissues from the Roth era. Now you're getting reissues from the Hagar era. You had the 4 Unlawful Carnal Knowledge box set. You have now coming a 5150 box set, which I'm going to reach out to Sammy or Michael. Sammy's been talking about coming on anyway because his residency is starting again here in Vegas next month. And of course, if he comes on for that, we'll hit him about the 5150 box. But you're seeing Sammy stuff coming. You saw a bunch of Roth remasters coming. Of course, Alex's book. Now they're talking about some previously unreleased recordings. So for the longest time, where we have all been saying, when's this stuff going to start coming? Maybe this is the faucet starting to be turned on, starting to drip a little bit in a good way. And maybe it'll eventually open up the floodgates to a bunch of cool previously unreleased Van Halen stuff and box sets and live stuff and what have you. We know it exists. Just a question of if it's going to come out, but these are all good signs as far as I'm concerned. One other quick note to tell you, the masked band Mushroom Head, who have been around forever, announced a tour today with Fear Factory. That's later this year, starts October 13th, will run for about a month. And that's pretty much what I got. So we're going to go through, we've made it through the news. Just getting a note here, Carrot Top's not going to be able to make it tomorrow. It doesn't look like. So we will figure out something to do, you and I, tomorrow, barring any other guests dropping in, as far as a throwdown or a top 5. And I always like taking your suggestions on that, so we can do that. We'll go to our hit list as well. All right, Joel, anything you want to jump in on?
Just wanted to add that we got a new Michael Monroe track today. The album is arriving on Friday, so this is the 3rd single that's released, but you'll hear the full album this Friday. The Metallica Red Cross Gala is open to the public. Tickets are very expensive. It's like sponsorship tickets, so they start at around $1,500. You have to buy a table and stuff like that. And we're also going to wish a happy birthday today to Dennis DeYoung.
How old is Dennis? Is he 80?
Almost. He's 79 today.
Wow. Amazing. We had Dennis DeYoung on the show a couple times. Obviously, we've had the Styx Camp on the shows a couple times. Obviously, those two do not coexist anymore. I remember last time Dennis was on, he was making a very open plea to, do something back with the band again. Those guys seemingly are not interested in that. So, that does not look like that's ever happening. So, everybody's kind of moving on at this point. I think the only way you'd ever get that reunion is if Styx ever went into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, which, as we talked about with the recent snub show, to me, they are absolutely in my top 5 snubs right now, Styx. Now, again, when I do that Styx event, which the second one is coming up later this year in October, but when I did the first one last October, I brought up the Hall of Fame stuff to those guys during the Q&A with the audience. And I think I told you guys this. They want nothing. They're one of those bands that are in the we want nothing to do with the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Now, I can't speak for Dennis because he wasn't there, of course, when I had the rest of the guys. But talking to Tommy Shaw, talking to JY about it, who are the two guys from the current lineup who would obviously be included, they were kind of like, no, we don't need it. We don't want it. We want nothing to do with it. And they even kind of made reference to the fact that, well, it would also facilitate a reunion that we don't want to deal with. So there's always that aspect too, when you have a major contributor to a band that's no longer in that band, and there's weirdness, and everybody wants to move on from it. Of course, for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, they want nothing more than to pull that reunion together. All right, I see Chris walking in now. Joel, let's take a break. We will get the man in here to talk about his upcoming shows with Alice Cooper. We'll get a little update with the one and only Chris Angel joining us
himself. Trunk Nation on SiriusXM's Fashion Talk.
breakdown, drag out, slamming shows.
With Eddie Trunk.
His voice is just freaking incredible.
Sirius XM
Unites the genres of rock.
Faction Talk.
All right, welcome back. And here we are hanging on a Wednesday, talking rock with you as we do every weekday here on Trunk Nation, Faction Talk 103, or the Sirius XM app. So we had this guy on talking about, when the show was announced with Alice Cooper, talking about the early stages of this, and now they are very far down the road with the rehearsals, and it is imminent, this incredible, what should be an incredible show. I don't know if anything like this has been done before, but joining me now is my good friend Chris Angel. Good to see you, buddy.
Great to see you. Thanks for having me on, and hey to all of the listeners right now.
Yeah, man, and I know, because you were on, what was it, a couple months ago, was it, when we did this, and you just had announced these shows with Alice. Since you've added shows, since you've done rehearsals, and now what, you're like a couple weeks away from the first ones, right?
Don't remind me. No, it's we're about 3 weeks. Our first show is March 6th, and then we go into the 7th and 8th, which is all, those shows are sold out. And it was sold out like in an hour. It was crazy. And then I added 4 more shows, and they pretty much sold through. And then we added 2 more shows. So you have a chance to see this pretty historic rock and roll event. So check out Ticketmaster, April 2nd, and then May 21st, 2 different months. You have an opportunity. I think one's Memorial Day and one's Easter. So you can come. There's a bunch of shows you could pick from, 9 in total. But yeah, it's going, like, I'm exhausted because all I do is, before I was going to do the show today, I was going to be at the theater. So I'm heading over there. I've been working like probably 16, 18 hours a day on the show, doing everything from directing the opening video that I had Alice shoot the last scene with a couple days ago. And his wife, Cheryl, is in the show. And let me tell you, this woman is incredible. Like, if you see the things that she is doing, and how quickly she's learning it, and then on top of all that talent and everything, she's 70 years old and she's flying around in the air. It's just unbelievable. Alice and I were just like, wow. And it's beautiful because we have her in a number called You and Me, which is a number I grew up in.
Great ballad, yeah.
Great ballad. I was 10 years old. He never performed it live. This will be the first time Alice will be doing that.
I can't believe
number.
he never did that live. That was a big song, because you and I grew up in the same area. 1977. You and I grew up in the New York market, same area. And I remember hearing that song as a kid on AM radio and the early FM stations. That was a big song.
It's a great song.
Yeah.
It has orchestration. I think it's one of his top 6 songs for me personally, because it reminds me as a kid, and then we're doing all the other songs, but I wanted to do something special. So this show, really, there's a lot of horror elements in this show. I'm really, Vegas is not known outside of the Universal thing that they're doing now.
They just opened,
but shows don't really have that horror element, and we're really pushing the envelope with the horror. It's pretty different than anything that's ever been done as far as just the content and the different elements that we're putting in. And it's going to be something that will be a spectacle. It will be a roller coaster ride. You don't know where it will twist and turn. Yes, it's going to have all of his hits. It's going to have songs like You and Me that he's never done live. And all the LED and the immersive elements are all new. And there's not a lot of new illusions in there, special effects. Alice is at his best right now. It's incredible. The band comes in on Sunday. We start running through and really diving into everything on Monday. Right now I'm doing all the preliminary technical things with the lighting and the video content and making it immersive and the special effects. So I'm getting all that stuff done now and kind of layering it in once the band comes here for rehearsals. So it's gonna be really, really cool.
you wanted to do this for a long time. I know how much this means to you and how much you're putting into it. I went to see Chris's show, Mind Freak, the other day, which is phenomenal. It's been running forever here in Vegas, and that's still going. We should tell people.
Yeah.
You know, you're still so. But when I saw you before the show backstage, you were like, yeah, you did a meet and greet with some people, and then you came over talking. Like, how you doing? You're like, because you're putting so much into it. You're like going nonstop. You're like, so I can't imagine for you, like you're doing this massive nightly incredible magic show, legendary magic show, but then you've got to refocus and then the next day go into this whole rock thing that you're creating.
Yeah, it's been crazy because I'm working harder on Welcome to Our Nightmare than probably any show I've ever done. And I'm really doing this. It's really a labor of love. The passion I have for Alice's music. I put the set list together. I sat there with Chuck, and I had all the stems, and we literally did the whole show from top to bottom. So I'm in it deep, every aspect of this thing, and it's really something that I want to make sure that Alice and his contributions to entertainment and to rock and roll really is right now at a level that is just something completely different. I think fans are going to go crazy for it, and let's face it, like I'm doing this with Alice in Planet Hollywood in Las Vegas, but you kind of have to come here to really experience this production, because all these other places have ripped me off. The Sphere, if you look at The Wizard of Oz, they literally came and took my shit and stole it. Like the special effects, the smoke coming, the over the audience, the immersive stuff, the fans, the blizzard, the leaves falling down, all that stuff. Same thing with Adele. So I had to imagine what I can do today that hasn't been done. And so that's really what I'm trying to bring to the show. I'm trying to take what we've seen, what was copied, and then raise the bar again. And I'm sure more people will copy it. I'm sure. But at the end of the day, that's what drives me. When I'm passionate, I never do things for money. Alice, the same thing. We're doing this because we have mutual respect for what we do, and I think we're going to create magic.
And you want to raise the bar every time.
Yeah.
I mean, I know that with you, knowing you. I was just saying off the air before you got here, I guess we've known each other for about 5 years now, because Scorpions just announced another residency again, like their 5th one.
It's amazing.
But the first one was when we met in the lobby when you were launching a new show at that time. So that's about 4 or 5 years ago at this point already. But yeah, you've got, and I've noticed that even seeing Mind Freak the other day. I mean, you're always evolving it, changing it, mixing it up, raising the bar. That's kind of a thing you're known for, and that's your trademark. So I'm not surprised to hear what you're telling me here and how you're going to do this. Now, for the audience, when this was first announced, there were a lot of people, and you yourself were still not 100% sure how this was going to take shape. Where is it a 90-minute rock show where what are you actually doing magic around Alice while he's singing? Are they separate segments where he does a song, then you come out and do it? Is it integrated? What is it?
It's completely integrated. It is first and foremost a rock show. The magic, I'm not treating the magic like I would in Mind Freak, which, to your point, yes, I'm working all day and then I have to go do Mind Freak, which is awesome. But Mind Freak is a rock magic show.
Yes.
Right? And so people that see me fly around and levitate, I prove to them there's nothing connected to me. I go in that hamster wheel, if you will, to prove there's nothing connected. With this show, the magic and the way I'm approaching it is that magic is used more as a special effect. So I'm not worried about like the audience following the beginning, the middle, and the end and like proving things to them. Don't care about that. What I'm trying to do is to create the most incredible eye candy within the context of Alice's songs, which most of them sound like they were written for the visuals. I mean, you take Dwight Fry, and you put that the lyric and what he's saying and how theatrical that is what is coming to life. Even the little girl, Mommy, when is Daddy coming home? You know, that whole beginning, it's there. It was in the song. So now I'm kind of taking it and bringing it to life into a visual. So if you think about like Pink Floyd, right? So Pink Floyd had all of these albums that you could sit there and just listen to and use your imagination and bring it to life in your head. And then eventually when they went on the road, they listened to the album and they brought it to life in their way. I'm taking what Alice created from the 70s, 80s, and paying tribute to like Poison, that whole video with the chains and the flag and the girl with the blonde and brunette. I'm paying homage to that, but I'm also taking his songs that he did in the 70s when I was 10 years old and bringing them to life, taking the lyric, taking the feeling of the music and creating a visual that goes hand in hand. And everything will support that. The lighting, the costuming, the characters, everything kind of lends support to what it is we're supposed to feel when we're hearing and seeing this concert and this song. So it's it's just something I'm really excited about. Because when you go see bands, they just come out, they do a song, and then it's applause, blackout. Maybe they talk in between songs, and then they come into the next song. There's not that. As a matter of fact, it's more like a medley. When you come out in the beginning, there's song after song. You don't even have a chance to applaud until we give you a chance to applaud. It's just something that, as you can tell, I'm very passionate, very excited.
Well, yeah.
And it's coming out amazing. It's coming out incredible. And yes, it really does meld the two disciplines together. So it's a 90-minute concert, but it's at another level as far as the visuals and what concert means. It's not a magic show. It's a concert. It's a rock show. Alice Cooper with incredible visuals, with Chris Angel on stage, and we might even do a song together.
Well, that was where I was going to go next. So we know what Alice does. We know what his band does. We know what you do. It's going to be a rock concert, but during the course of the concert, anybody who's seen Chris's show knows it's physical, it's visual. You're flying around, like you said. You're in the hamster wheel. You got birds. You're appearing. You're disappearing. All this amazing stuff. Is during the show, are you out there the whole time?
I'm out there for when I have to be out there. And I have a whole musical background. That's where I came from. I've been involved in music since I was 6 years old. So Alice just said to me, Chris, you and we got to do $1 Billion Baby together. $1 Billion Baby. So I was like, cool. So I'm obviously very familiar with the song. And so I created a visual that will go really, really well together. But yes, I'm going to be on stage. I'm going to be interacting, bringing what I do. Alice will be orchestrating some of it. Alice will be in some of it. But it all complements each other. There's no like me trying to like upstage Alice or Alice trying to upstage me, or it's just an experience. And I think the approach, because of my background, is an approach where it maintains the integrity of what people want from a rock show, but also delivering something way more. And I think it's that excitement, that thrill, that scare. It's taking everything to a whole new level, if I might say so myself.
Well, I can't wait to see it. And the other thing I should mention, if you've ever seen Chris's show Mind Freak in this same theater, it's in the same theater where this Alice show is going to happen. It's a great theater. It's the perfect size. And the other thing, like you have like a live bass player. For people that don't know, it is very much a rock magic show. And the sound in your theater, the PA, the acoustics are killer. And I'm a stickler for that when I go to a rock show. I want to hear great sound system. Yeah. So I can imagine that
it's millions of dollars. So our theater, my theater, the Chris Angel Theater at Planet Hollywood is basically something I created. It would have cost probably about $150 million to do this theater. I did it with my own cash, and I also did it with sponsorships and different strategic partners that normally would go and be in a convention competing against 1,000 other booths. I was like, I have the ultimate showroom for you. I'll do a 5-year deal. Give me your products. Let me create an experience that maybe you can have your clients come and see how your product can be really pushed and really see it in the way that uses the consumer's imagination to apply it to what they want to use it for. So my theater, there's over 165 speakers. You have 12 30-inch subwoofers with a piston driving the subwoofer. You feel your soul moving when that thing goes. It's beyond surround sound. And I just had DOS, which is my sponsor, come in and retune the room for the Alice show. So Mind Freak, it's tuned a certain way. So when I do Mind Freak, that room acoustics are one way. Alice, the acoustics are another way. I even retooled the video because we have more LED screens than anybody. It's crazy as far as theater wise. We have as many pixels in my theater as the Sphere does.
Wow.
And people don't know that, but that's true because we have 2 millimeter pixels. Theirs are really far apart because you're so far away. So we enhance the brightness. We have, flame effects, 31 flame effects. We have all types of immersive special effects that are going to happen. The audience will not be watching the show. The audience will be in the show. The shit that happens on stage will happen in the audience. That goes for lighting, that goes for special effects, and the sound will be around you. It's not in front of you only. Of course it's in front of you, but it's everywhere. It's behind you. It's on the sides of you. So we're able to manipulate the sound and be able to take these transitions, these tableaus that we're going to create, and make it sound like something is right next to you, very much like a movie. If you went into a theater, the cinema.
Right.
So that's the stuff that fascinates me. And we're doing this on basically, Cirque's food budget. And we're doing it in record time. This entire show will be put together in less than 2 weeks with the band and Alice and all of the elements. Granted, I've been working on this since last year in a layer effect. But you're talking about costumes, you're talking about cast, you're talking about, special effects, set list, music, what the illusions, what the effects are. All of this stuff, all of these elements are going to be put together at one time in less than 2 weeks, starting next Monday.
So just to wrap up this part about the show, and I want to hit you with a couple other things. I know you got to go because you got to work on this thing, and we'll grab a few calls. A few people want to ask you a couple questions if that's cool.
Sure.
But as far as what's available now, the shows, because this is a limited engagement, because like we talked about last time,
9 shows.
Yeah, your schedule, Alice's schedule. He's going to Europe doing Hollywood Vampires. So you're going to do it when you can do it. But right now, 9 shows total. So there's a couple shows that are not sold out, right? People listening who still want to get in on this.
Yeah,
right?
They just went on sale. The April 2nd and May 21st. If you want to experience that, April 2nd, May 21st, you're going to be able to get the best seats because they just went on sale. You also have some seats, not a lot, 3rd, 4th, 22nd, and 23rd, but not a lot.
Okay.
There's also a meet and greet package as well, which is awesome with me and Alice. There's some really cool merch, signed guitars, lenticulars of the key art. There's some really cool stuff. We wanted to make this special, and I've been working on this with my incredible team, obviously Shep and Alice and Cheryl and those guys, Kyler and their team. So it's been a very overwhelming experience, but it's been a very gratifying experience. And I think ultimately the people that are going to win are the fans, whether they're a Chris Angel Mind Freak fan or they're an Alice fan. I think we have the same base of fans, and I think we're going to create a wonderful experience. And hopefully, based on what we do in these 9 shows, maybe down the road we can do more. But to your point, I'm busy doing this. I also have a movie I'm going to be doing. I have lots of projects, and Alice is doing Hollywood Vampires. He has his own tours. So this is a very special thing that's not going to happen right now, just 9 times. So if you want to experience this, come and get your tickets today, because they're not going to be here in the next few days, I don't believe.
Yeah, well, I'm excited to see it. I can't wait, and I know how excited you are. And of course, I know Alice very well. Alice played at my party a couple years ago.
I was there.
Played a couple songs, which is such a great honor. And again, the music and what Alice does, knowing what you do, it's the perfect marriage made in hell.
And the most incredible musicians.
Oh yeah, those guys are all great. And I don't know, is Nita going to be able to do it? Nita's pregnant. I know they need to replace her.
I think. Well, she'll be here. So she is just beyond talented. She's just crazy talented. So I'm hoping that she can. But their Shep is dealing with that right now because she is pregnant. And obviously, we don't want to ever put her in any situation.
Yeah.
I know that when we originally told her, because she was pregnant, don't worry, she really was upset because she really wanted to do it. When she was here and we shot the commercial, she was so excited, so passionate, along with all of the other guys. They're just really talented. All they want to do is work and put forth the time because they feel that this is special. They're like, we have never done anything like this, Chris. Whatever you need from us, we're here. We're part of the team. No egos. And it's been beautiful. I have so much respect for them. And I think the mutual respect we have for each other, you're going to see that on stage, and it's going to be a wonderful, fun experience for everyone. And people that come to the show, I'm doing something very special. And hey, stupid, I'm bringing some people up on the stage to actually party and to participate in that song. So it's going to be things that you haven't seen Alice do. It's going to have the audience really involved. And I can't wait. So get your tickets.
It's gonna be great. And as Chris said, everybody knows Alice has always had a great band, and this band is no exception. I'm actually going to be doing a charity event with Ryan and Tommy in Boston on February 26th, Lansdowne Pub, and it is a charity guitar shred thing. So those guys I'll be hosting it. They're going to be judging it. So I'll be seeing those guys soon as well. All right. So one other thing for me, we'll grab a few calls and I'll let you get out of here. I want to mention this. You, of course, were part of KISS's Kennedy Center honors. And you did a great job. I don't know where you buy that jacket. I need one of those. I don't know if I could pull that off, though. That jacket that whole outfit was unbelievable, bro.
Thank you.
Where do you buy something like that?
Actually, that whole outfit I had gotten years ago outside of that silver cape.
Yeah. But
it's all Philip Plein. And the boots were Paul Stanley's. And that whole thing came together like out of nowhere. I'm literally, I do a 3.2 mile walk around my neighborhood. I try to do it consistently. It's kind of gives me the opportunity to just kind of like be at peace and relax and take in what I have to accomplish. And while I'm doing this walk, I get a call. And I recognize as soon as it says, it doesn't have any ID, I know it's Paul. Mm. And he's like, Chris, what's up? And I'm like, yeah, I'm just walking. He's like, hey, I want to ask you if you'd like to do something for me and for the band. And I was like, what? He's like, would you present KISS at the Kennedy Center, or would you perform something? And I was like, Paul, you've been doing this for over 50 years. you have met so many people that are way more powerful or like a larger star. Why would you want me to do it? And he's like, I spoke with Gene, and we just really, really like love you. We think you're great. We think what you do is great. And we think you represent, us. And he's like, you do whatever you want to do. If you want to perform. If you want to present us. I'll leave it up to you. Whatever you want to do, surprise me. And so I immediately thought, wow, this is incredible. I initially thought like, okay, I want to do a Kiss song with Alice Cooper and bring it to life at the Kennedy Center. But unfortunately, I reached out. Alice was in Europe doing something with an orchestra.
Right. I had him on just before he left to go over there for that.
Yeah, so
because he did his charity Christmas pudding way early last year.
Yes,
because he had to be in Germany. It was in Germany.
Yes.
Yeah.
So he was doing that. So we were unable to do that. So then I was like, you know what? Ace Frehley just passed away. I want to do something that memorializes, because Ace. I used to have a T-shirt with Ace when I was a kid. And he had such a tremendous impact on so many people.
Yeah, and you called me.
I called you to pick your brain too.
Yep.
And so I was like, let me get a guitar. Let me talk to the director, see if they like this idea. So I got on the phone. I wrote a speech already when I got on the phone. I read this, and he was like, oh my God, we don't even have to have a writer. Like, this is great. And they were great. And then I told them about the idea. I said, I want to take Ace's guitar and I want to have it on stage and then have it come to life, smoke as if Ace is in the room, to pay tribute to him in a moment of silence. And he's like, that's awesome. So got off the phone, immediately had to track down guitar, the application to doing that. So I reached out, talked to a variety of folks, got my guy, and put that together. He was awesome. Had to do some work to it when I got it, and then literally jumped on the jet, went there, and put the whole thing together. I literally had to throw that whole thing together while I had Chuck there working on the Alice stuff. I was working on the music in the Ableton and trying to put the whole show together because I wanted the show to have a certain type of pacing. And I also understand what's going to happen visually in the song and what we need backstage time for. So what song needs to come next, keeping the pacing, but yet allowing the technical parameters to be met. So I have Chuck upstairs. I then get the boots the next day from Paul. I'm like, I didn't even ask him what size he is. It was meant from God, I swear. I put the boots on, they fit perfectly. I'm walking on it. And by the way, how much more respect I have for those guys. Because, you just think walking in it is no big deal. They're like stilts. And I used to walk on stilts. So I have a little experience. You could twist your ankle. I call Paul up. I'm like, Paul. I was like, did you ever wipe out with it? He's like, no. He's like, people think walking. He's like, try dancing and jumping and doing all those things. I said, imagine. It's just incredible.
Yeah.
He's like, tape up your ankles. I didn't tape up my ankles. I went out there. I was very cautious because I did not want to wipe out. But wow, thinking about what they did wearing those outfits and those boots, those heels. That literally is, do you love me? My 7-inch heel, they really are 7 inches. I measured it. I wanted to see, and I didn't want to give them back. I took a jacuzzi with my boots outside.
Of course, you measured it. I would do the same thing because I was such a nerd about Kiss songs. But I can't. It's It's true when you say that because, look, understandably, as Kiss got older, they didn't do the crazy jumps and stuff. They kind of, just kind of walked around on stage in those outfits. But when you go back and you look at the mid-'70s stuff, when they were in their early 20s, and the Paul jumping off drum risers and doing splits, Gene was so animated and everything. That's where you're like, How the hell did they do that on those boots?
I was there for their last show.
The stairs, they had staircases.
Yeah,
I mean, Ace fell once.
Ace would fall a lot. But what do you say? Gravity is
gravity couldn't hold them down.
Yeah. But the thing about their Madison Square Garden show, the last shows they did, Paul, I don't know. I saw Paul jumping up and down and dancing and doing his.
Well, he knew it was the last one, so he figured if he blew something out, there wasn't another show.
But yeah, it's just incredible to me. Like, think about it. Like their age and me at what am I, 58, walking around, and I think I'm pretty athletic, and I walk with stilts. I was like, wow, this is. To perform it, I try to move around, and I was like, yeah, this would take some time, and you're definitely gonna screw up your ankle. It's bound to happen.
Exactly,
bound to happen.
How did you find the whole experience of the Kennedy Center? Did you you got to stay and watch the performances and everything, right?
It was absolutely one of the most amazing experiences of my life. Not only because it was Kiss, a band that meant so much to me and continues to mean so much to me, and now I'm dear friends with Paul and the guys, Gene and stuff, but just to be there. I don't care what president you like. I don't care if it's a Democrat or a Republican. The honor of being there and having the president and seeing what the Secret Service does. I literally saw them section off the backstage area so that if you wanted to go from backstage, stage right to stage left, you literally had to get stopped and go through a metal detector. One guy that worked there, he thought he was above it, and he just kept on walking. And they said, stop, and he wouldn't stop. They threw him on the ground, threw handcuffs on him. They don't play around.
Sure.
They had, the SWAT team. That it was incredible. And the crazy thing is it was surreal. I'm in the wing, stage left wing, ready to go out because I did several things, and some of the things were cut out, but I did a whole piece that was cut out that was really cool. So I was in the wing a lot, and I'm waiting, and there's a monitor there. And they're the videos of Kiss, and the next thing you know, Garth Brooks is waiting there, and I'm sitting there. Garth and I are chatting away. He goes out, he does his song, right? He comes back, we're talking, and the whole thing was surreal. Then I come off stage, and President Trump is 3 feet from me. He's like, "Hey, Chris, how you doing?"
Wow.
Because he asked me to do The Apprentice many, many years ago.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, I can't afford to do The Apprentice. If you want to pay what they're paying me,
because you would have to
I was doing shows. I couldn't.
Yeah.
I couldn't. But he was there. He was lovely to me, and it was just very surreal because you're thinking to yourself, again, doesn't matter what president's there. This is an honor, that happens every year by whatever president's there. And I remember watching Led Zeppelin with Heart doing Stairway to Heaven with Jason Bonham playing drums.
Yep.
That was an incredible version, by the way, Stairway to Heaven. But I remember, and then I'm there. And so it was just so surreal. The most powerful people in the world are in that room watching. And it was just a surreal experience. And I was just so honored that Paul and Gene wanted me to do this, and Doc as well. It was crazy. So great experience. I still have that signed guitar by Paul, Gene, and Peter. That guitar I brought back with me. They signed it the night before we did the event. And so that guitar I will treasure because it has so much meaning. It's the last time they've ever signed something that represents Ace.
Yeah.
And that guitar was on. It's just amazing. The whole thing is is crazy.
Yeah. Well, and as somebody, as you know, I was a dear friend of Ace's for
Yes.
almost 40 years.
You signed them, right? You got them signed.
His solo deal, in
Yeah.
'86, yeah. But you did a phenomenal job honoring him. I
Thank
was
you.
really the speech, the way you did it, the smoking guitar thing. When you first called me, because as Chris said earlier, he called me running, knocking around ideas. And when you told me I got this idea about making the guitar smoke, I was like, wow, that is so heavy. That's so cool. And, I thought, it's a tough thing because that was really fresh too. It's still less than a year, of course, since we lost Ace, but that was really, Ace knew about that. He really wanted
to be there.
Oh, he was way into
Yes.
it. I mean, it was a huge thing
In
for
my
him.
speech they cut out, I was talking about
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Because you gave me a lot of insight.
Yeah.
And if you remember the song that they played, that was Ace's song off of his solo
Fractured
album.
Mirror.
Yeah, and that it starts out with church bells.
Yes.
It was almost as if he wrote that song back. What year was that? Like 80s?
78.
78.
77, 78.
Like for 2000 and whatever it was.
You know what's crazy?
26, 25.
That song, that song, which is an amazing instrumental on his 78 solo album, that song has, between that usage and also, and most people would never know this because there were very, very few people there, but I attended Ace's service. I actually carried the casket, and his funeral. Gene and Paul were there, but it's a very small amount of people, very small. And during the visitation wake, the day before the funeral, if you were in that room, that's all they played on a loop was Fractured Mirror.
Really?
Yes. The funeral
I
home
did
played it
not
on a
know that.
loop in the
Wow.
funeral home. So that song took on a whole new stature in use. Looking at, you wish you never had it be used like that,
Right.
because we would love it for Ace to still be here. But honestly, man, I thought you did a great, great job honoring him. And obviously, it was nice that a legit Kiss fan like you did it. So I thought it was a
And it
great
was
call.
a speech that I wrote. It
Yeah.
wasn't written by somebody who didn't care.
Yeah.
So I picked a lot of brains and put that together, and I try to do my best.
Yeah, well, you did. You did a
Thank
great job with it. All right, so a couple quick calls for Chris, then he's got to get to his theater and keep working on the Alice thing. So if you got a question about this or anything, call in right now. We'll grab a few callers, and then we'll let you get out of here. 844-686-5863. Cal in Georgia. Go ahead, Cal. You're on with Chris.
Hey,
Hey, Chris, how's it going, man?
it's going well. I can't go better with that. With being anywhere else, being with Eddie is awesome.
Well, yeah. Well, you already answered my question on what if Nita is going to be there, so thank you for that, Eddie.
Yeah, I guess we'll see, right? Well,
she will definitely be here on Monday.
She might be eating popcorn in the front row watching someone else because, again, she's pregnant.
But yeah, that's to be determined. But I look forward to work with her because she's and the rest of the guys. She did this all so talented.
All
You got
right,
a question,
I really
Cal?
want to. What? Yeah, I want to. Oh, what?
Yeah, go ahead with your question.
Well, it's not a question because it was already answered. I just wanted to say that I actually had the pleasure of seeing you at the day before. I mean, at one of the Scorpions residents. Well, your show, I was able to see, and because I was in Vegas seeing the Scorpions, and you were really phenomenal. And I just wanted to say, keep on doing what you were doing. Keep on doing what you're doing.
Well, I very much appreciate that, and it means a lot to me. And I hope you have a beautiful, blessed day. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Cal. Here's Weston in Tennessee. Go ahead, Weston.
Hey, Chris and Eddie. Chris, so since you're doing a lot of variety of Alice's songs, I was curious, and this you probably may not be able to answer this, but did you and Alice look at maybe including some different characters that were included in some of his songs? Like I'm thinking of, all the interesting folks that were in the From the Inside album, or some of the creatures from Welcome to My Nightmare. So that was my question. And I also just wanted to say that tribute to Ace at the Kennedy Center Honors was absolutely beautiful, and couldn't have picked a better song to represent him with Fractured Mirror. So thank you, man.
Well, thank you so much for the kind words. The characters that we're utilizing are based on like newer ideas and things that that we're playing with. I really I wanted to interpret Alice's music from a different perspective. Although there are moments that we pay homage to, you know, some of the things that Alice did, like the guillotine. I have a version that has never been done that I created for this show, where I'm literally standing up and my head gets chopped off, and you see my actual head fall down 5 feet, hit the floor. There's no bucket there. There's nothing. But then we also pay homage to Alice's guillotine in the classic way. And so I approached it that way with the illusions, but I also approached it that way with some of the moments in the show. So you'll have to see the show to understand what I mean exactly about the characters. It kind of tips its hat, but it's a new version of some of those elements.
Let's get a couple more in here. Here's Rich in Southern California. Go ahead, Rich. You're on with Chris Angel.
Hey, Chris. I got to tell you, I'm a ridiculously huge fan of yours and a crazy fan of Alice Cooper's. When I heard you guys were doing the show together, completely flipped. We're going opening night, so extremely excited. Real quick, when you talked about the set list, not that you can name specific songs, but you said you put it together. Did you take any songs that maybe he hasn't done in a long time or never before? And also, where can you find to purchase the meet and greet seats? Because I've looked everywhere and I can't find where.
If you go to chrisangel.com, you'll see Alice's face along smush with mine. Just click on that, and Ticketmaster, there are meet and greets available there.
There's not. I'm on it right now. There's nothing there.
Unless it's sold out, a lot of people have purchased it. But there's definitely meet and greets there.
The opening night one might be sold out.
Yeah, but there's definitely meet and greets for every single show. So I maybe just send an email to Ticketmaster and see where it is, but look around there because I know that they're there because I see the sales of them. So people are buying them. But cool. To answer your question, the answer is yes. I went through about over 300 songs by the time I got done on Apple Music to listen to Alice's songs. It was an arduous journey because there was a tremendous amount of material. And so, yes, there are songs in there that he has never performed live. And
wow.
And literally he said to me, "Oh, I never did this one live." We got to, and the band is like, "We never did that song. We got to practice that." So they've been working on it for some time, because when I put the set list together and I was in the studio kind of creating so that we had something to work with for lighting and just the illusions and teching, I had to use studio versions of songs because there were no live versions that I could pull from.
Sure.
So in the show run through that I have on my phone and at the theater, there are, like, it starts off and there is literally studio versions of the songs because they never did it live. Then it goes to the live version. Then we go down a couple more songs, jumps to a studio version. So I think listen, I'm never going to make everyone happy with the songs that were picked because everybody has their favorite for their own reason. But I did my absolute best to give the hits, the songs that you must do, that people want to hear, but also throw a couple in there that will make sense visually, but also Alice can do to do something that feels different in Vegas. I think you're going to see from Alice things that he doesn't typically do or ever have done on a tour that you'll get from Alice in Vegas. We're treating this very different, and the Alice character is going to be put in situations and do things that typically that Alice character wouldn't do. And we have to do that because people are expecting the unexpected in Vegas, and we got to treat this as a very special, limited engagement where you have to be in this theater in order to experience this show, because you can't experience it anywhere else in the world except at the Planet Hollywood Criss Angel Theater.
You want a couple more quick ones? Okay, a couple more quick ones, and we'll let them get out of here.
No problem.
Here's Art in Los Angeles. Go ahead, Art.
Hey, Eddie. Hey, Chris.
Hey, man.
How are you?
Good. Thank you for bringing the show to life, man. I'm really excited. I will be attending to the first and last show.
Awesome.
So I'll be going twice. And my question is the set is going to be like the same every day, or is it going to change, one song and all that?
To be honest with you, because I don't bullshit, it's going to be the same. And the reason why it's going to be the same is, if you understand, I have over 2,000 lights. Okay, think about that. If you go see a concert in an arena, they don't have 2,000 lights. I have over 2,000 lights. I have tons of video screens. So all of this stuff that's created has to be programmed, ingested in the systems. It's not something that if you're just touring and loading in the morning and loading out, where you're renting your PA, you're renting your light system, you could just say, okay, we're just going to fudge it, throw a new song in there, and the guy knows the lights, and he's just going to be playing along, cueing the lights while you're doing it live. It's way more sophisticated, and the downside of it is you don't have the flexibility to say, hey, it's going to pull this song out and put this song in, because you won't have lights, you won't have video, and this is about a Vegas experience. When you go see a show at the Sphere, which is cool, after the third song, you're like, okay, I get it. The video screen does this, and the band looks like ants down there, and they do that. But after like the 6th, 7th, 8th song, you're kind of like, all right, it's kind of one-dimensional. It's awe-inspiring when you first see it in the first couple songs, but then it becomes played out really, really fast. What we're doing with this show is that this stuff is going to be a roller coaster ride. You're going to see things that are going to change and transform, get big, get small, and it's going to be different elements, not one element beaten to death like the Sphere.
Right. Cool.
All right, Art.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, man, thank you so much. And I'll see you the first show and the last show.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. We're going to get one final call in here, and it's Lynn, who is in New Jersey. Go ahead, Lynn. You're on with Criss Angel.
Hey, Chris. Hey, Eddie. Chris, I just wanted to tell you, when my son was about 10 years old, you were his idol. We saw you at the Luxor. We bought the Magic Kit. Everything he could see of you, he saw. I thought you were a great role model for him then, and I just wish you all the best.
You're so sweet, and I do appreciate that. Thank you so very much.
What a great way to end on. Thank you, Lynn. Appreciate that. And to that point, if you go to Chris's show, the kids that are in the audience, you really engage them, and you have the one kid you give the Magic Kit to, the starter kit and all of that. You tell your own story about, sitting on, your front steps, your mom would be cooking, you'd be doing tricks.
That's
so
true.
It's really, really brings it full circle. It's really, really cool.
I want to inspire people.
And your own kids are in the show,
yeah,
which are so
kids,
cute.
Yeah, they come out, they do stuff. But Mind Freak really, by the way, is a show that I've been doing now in Vegas for over 6,000 shows. So the Alice Cooper Welcome to Our Nightmare is the second show that I'll be doing, but Mind Freak is an institution. If you haven't seen it, I just redid that entire show. It's the best version of not only Mind Freak, but anything I've ever done so far. So bring the whole family, see Mind Freak. Right now we're on hiatus because I'm working on the Alice show, but we come back right after the Alice show. I'm here over 200 shows a year with Mind Freak, so come check that out. Bring the whole family. Come see Welcome to Our Nightmare. If you want more information about either show, please go to chrisangel.com and just click the Alice or the Mind Freak banner, and it will bring you right there with info, video, all sorts of fun things. Or you can go to my Instagram, just Criss Angel, or any other platform, just Criss Angel, and really grateful to have this opportunity. Eddie.
Anytime, brother.
You're
Anytime.
the best, and appreciate all of these wonderful folks that support you, support rock and roll. Go out to the concerts, because music had taken a dynamic shift, unfortunately, for rock and roll years ago, and it's important that we support these musicians that are playing rock, that are playing it live. And we're doing it live, by the way. The band is live.
Oh yeah, Alice is great.
We might have some samples of a doorbell ringing,
of course.
But outside of that, where it's being sung live, it's being played live, and it's really a community around the world that loves Alice and this genre. And come out and support it, because it's really important to make rock and roll more like mainstay, like mainstream, like it used to be.
I think we're getting there. I think there's been great strides in that direction in the last couple of years. One last thing you mentioned, important, and this is super important, and I want you to just plug this real quickly, because this is very, very important. It's an amazing thing that you do. Your son is a cancer survivor, and you do. When I came to see you the other day, and we talked for a little bit, Wendy Dio had me give you a little trophy from the Dio Cancer Fund, which I help out, and she just honors people who do great work with cancer charity stuff. And you yourself have a great charity in your son's name, and that's in the show too. If you see Mind Freak, that's called out. So just for people listening, mention that real quick, because it's so important.
Well, first of all, I want to thank you, and I want to thank Wendy. Obviously, I was a huge Dio fan, still am, and really appreciate the acknowledgement about the work I tried to do, which is a grain of sand on a very big beach. But if you consider one child every 2 minutes that gets diagnosed with pediatric cancer, it's pretty staggering. And so my kid was that one kid. And he got diagnosed when he was 20 months old. He fought it for 6+ years. Thank God he survived it. And I do thank Lord God, Jesus Christ, because without, I'm nothing. And I'm just grateful that Johnny is great. So I'm trying to give back to those kids that are going through, and their parents are getting those words that I never wanted to hear: your kid has cancer. So if you'd like to see a beautiful short film, 13 minutes long, that I made about my family and what we went through, it will inspire you, will touch your heart. It's great for the whole family. It's called 1095. You can go to chrisangelhelp.com. That's chrisangelhelp.com, and check out 1095. Share it, or learn a little bit about the charity. If you'd like to donate $1, what makes our charity very different than most is that 100% of every single cent that we raise goes to these kids. Not a penny comes out for any expense of any kind. I fund it all out of my own pocket, and it's something that I'll continue to do. And we have raised millions of dollars for these kids and our community in Vegas. And hopefully, if you want info, just go to chrisangelhelp.com, and I appreciate that plug. People don't want to hear about it because it's a downer, but it's reality, and it's something that all too many kids have to deal with. So hopefully we can make cancer as a whole disappear and move to a more positive life without cancer.
Yeah, 100%. That's important. That's why I want to make sure we got that in. All right, buddy. Great to see you. Again, everybody, you just got all the information. The shows with Alice are going to be incredible. I can't wait to see one of them myself. And again,
when are you coming?
Well, I can't come the opening because I've got gigs in Ohio.
So the 6th, 7th, and 8th, you're gone? So you let me know
yes,
what day.
I am.
All right, so then April 2nd, 3rd, or 4th, or May 21st, 22nd.
April for sure.
Okay.
Well, maybe, and I don't want to spring this to you on the air, but of course I'm just thinking, maybe you said you're doing stuff over there. Maybe if it's cool, I'll pop my head in and take a look at what's going on.
Sure.
Without giving anything away, I can tell the audience.
Or maybe bring your gear, and maybe you could do a broadcast. I don't
Alice
know if
and
that's
the band are over there.
With Alice.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah,
Alice
we'll talk
will
about
be there.
it.
Yeah, if we get set on, that would be really, really cool to do some type of event there that we could build up, and maybe there's
you've got that great VIP room backstage with the bar in it and stuff. You even you were doing your own podcast out of there for a little while.
Absolutely. So maybe there's something
bring
we
this
could
down
do
and
for some fans to come listen to your interview in the room with Alice or
just throw Alice on the air and some of the band members and whatever.
Whatever you want to do, let's figure something out.
We'll figure it out.
Thank you so much. Thanks to all of you for listening, and really appreciate the love and support. Have a beautiful day. God bless you, and I'll see you out.
All right, guys.
To our nightmare.
We'll take a break and we'll come back. We'll have about a half an hour, wrap things up. We'll hone in on tomorrow's show as well, grab a few more phone calls, and continue right after this on Trunk Nation. Chris Angel, everybody, if you missed anything, you know what to do. Just rewind on the app. You can start over from the beginning. And, of course, the full show is archived on the app as well. And we'll get this out in the next week or two as well to everybody as a podcast. But for right now, if you missed anything, just go back and check it out on the app. All right, we'll be right back with more as we finish up on this Wednesday here, Talking Rock with you.
To this day, when Ronnie Van Zant says, turn it up, Eddie does. More Trunk Nation after this. Trunk Nation.
Knockdown, drag out, slamming show.
With Eddie Trunk.
His voice is just freaking incredible.
Sirius XM.
Unites the genres of rock.
Faction talk.
All right, Chris is making his way out of here and heading to his theater. He is a workaholic, man. That guy's unbelievable, his drive. He is, if you follow him online, he's flying around doing stuff, literally. He's training. He's into like MMA stuff now. He's in like crazy shape. He's like doing his own show every night, developing this Alice Cooper show. He's got other projects going on, the charity stuff. Really a driven guy in a good way, man. Very inspirational what he does, and as you could hear, a really good dude as well. So it's great to have become close friends with him in recent years, and obviously a big rock fan as well. So definitely look forward to this Alice Cooper stuff. I'm definitely going to go. I just can't go to that first weekend because I am going to be east at that time. I've got these speaking shows in Ohio that I've been talking about, and I've got the thing I'm doing with two of the guys from Alice's band in Boston on the 26th. So I'm leaving Vegas to go to that, then back to New Jersey, and then that stuff's going to be going on. So I'll be staying east for a little bit, going in and out of Ohio, easier for me, and then I'll eventually get back here. And I'll definitely, for sure, catch some of those shows, at least one or two of them. And as Chris was just leaving now, we were talking about it. It's just a question of if we can work out the schedule and do something from the show with Alice and some of the band members. And, he's got a great facility there in Planet Hollywood, and all we could have to do is plug in and do it. It's just a question of if the timing works out, because this show is live noon to 2 Pacific time, obviously. So are they going to be there? Are they going to be available? Are they going to be busy? Doesn't make sense to do a live broadcast from something when the people aren't there yet or it's too early. So we'll see how that all ends up playing out. And I'll give you one other little fun little inside tip. Ever since I've been here in Vegas, I get emails all the time from people who are coming here. And I've become like the concierge of Vegas, where they'll ask me like, hey, man, what's the best club to go to, or what's the best restaurant, or what's a good show to go to? I try to help out when I get a chance to answer some of those emails, but I'll tell you this, and this is not any kind of plug because I don't get anything. I have nothing to do with this place, and trust me, I don't get comped a breadstick. But my favorite steak place in Vegas, or pretty much anywhere, is right next to Chris's theater. So if you like a good steak dinner, a place is called the Strip House. So I'll give it a little mention. And it's literally like if you're looking at Chris's theater, it is right next to it. So, if you're looking for a nice meal, add that to your agenda as well. It ain't cheap, like most steakhouses are not cheap. And this is definitely not cheap, but if you're up for that experience, it is my favorite spot. Just ironically next, and a lot of times when I'm in there eating, I'll text Chris because his show starts, his magic show every night starts at 7:30. It's over by 9. So sometimes I'm in there, I'm like, come over, and he'll come over and sit down and say hello and have something to drink or something to eat while, and he's getting out of his show. All right. So, Carrot Top, it doesn't look like he is available tomorrow. Hold on. I'm checking my texts. Let me see. Yeah, he's not. Yeah, he's not going to be able to do tomorrow. So we will come up with something that we're going to do tomorrow right now. He wants to do, so Carrot Top, who I saw the other day as well, and is obviously a regular on the show now and another legendary figure here in Vegas. The guy has been here 35 years doing his phenomenal show. And he had this idea where he wanted to do basically like a Mount Rushmore of rock. But where we've done that before, and Mount Rushmore is limited to 4 people. He wants to make it a little easier, open it to 5 people. And I think the criteria was, and this is a good twist, he originally said, so you basically assemble your dream band. And he originally said it could be people alive or dead. I think it's better to go with just people that are alive. So with Carrot Top, we did the Heaven House Band thing a couple times, which is great, and we could always revisit that. And that's all people who are deceased putting the all-time great band together. I like going the other way now and taking those people out of the equation and making it only people who are still with us. So a 5-piece all-time great band, but it has to be people that are all still alive, which sadly eliminates a lot of legendary musicians. So I'm going to hold on doing that idea until he can do it with us, because he really wanted to. I was in his dressing room the other day. We were talking about this. So I'll find a date when he can come in and sit with us, and we'll get him in the studio and have him chime in on that. Been a little while since we had him on. But that leaves tomorrow, Thursday, and I like doing these phone shows on Thursdays because they lead into Free For All Friday. So, Joel, what is on the hit list as far as throwdowns, top 5s? And if you guys have some suggestions, because often the best ones come from you guys, you can call them in right now as well at 844-686-5863. What is on the hit list, Joel?
Okay, so some of the ones that we've been excited about but haven't tried yet. Top 5 Freaks, Dio versus Dickinson versus Halford. Sabbath.
Wait. Stop there. Where's my pen?
Okay.
I want to,
because I'll jot them down.
These. Yeah, I want to jot them down so I can look at it.
Let them marinate. See them on the page in front of you. Yeah, of course.
Exactly. Freaks, which, of course, for us is 70 plus that are still amazing. Yep. Okay, what else you got?
The 3-headed throwdown of Dio versus Dickinson versus Halford.
Right.
Or the 3-headed throwdown of the Sabbath catalog, the Ozzy catalog, or the Dio catalog. There has been some call to do kind of like year-driven shows, and I know we said even the other day that specific years was tough, but something that came up was 70s versus 80s. So there's that. Another couple on the list, best dual threats. We've danced around that one a bunch of times. That could be cool to do.
Singer, guitar player, equally great.
Yep. And throwdown, we've had for 2 albums that turned 50 this year, Aerosmith Rocks or Kiss Rock and Roll Over.
Oh, that's right. I remember that.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's all good stuff. All right, yeah. If you guys want to chime in on that, and you got a suggestion or something we didn't hit, and we'll hone in on doing that tomorrow. Again, you could do that now at 844-686-5863, and in the next 15 minutes or so, when we wrap up, we will lock in on what we're going to do tomorrow, because those are all good things. Let me go over to the phones. Here's Dave. Dave is in Louisville, Kentucky. Go ahead, Dave. You're on the air.
Hey, Eddie, it's your old friend Dave Moody from Hairball, and you told me to give you a shout when we was going to play in Vegas there, and we're going to be at Fremont on April 11th, and it'd be great to see you. I know if our good buddy, our mutual friend Craig Gass can be there, he'll be there, so you'll have a date at least. So if you want to come on out, we'd love to have you, buddy.
Well, let me see here on my schedule. I'm just pulling it up. So, unfortunately, Dave, I appreciate that invite, but that is the day that I am leaving Vegas because I've got to go to Florida because the Monsters of Rock cruise leaves like the next day. So, unfortunately, I'm going to be traveling.
Good for you.
But I'd love to
Good
see
for
your
you.
band. I really would, man. I've heard great things about it. I know you guys do tremendous business. I'd love to check them out.
Yeah, absolutely. You're welcome anytime. If you see something that you want to come to, man, we'd love to have you. And, of course, you're always welcome. Just let us know. If you want to shoot us a message on Facebook or whatever that you're coming or whatever, would be just fine. We'd just love to have you. And I'm going to go with Rock and Roll Over versus Rocks. There you go.
Hold on a second, Dave. Don't hang up. You're calling. I'm going to, if it's cool with you, while you are on the phone, I am going to, because I can see your phone number, I'm going to jot your phone number down so I have it. Is that cool?
Oh, that's fantastic. Yeah, it'd be great.
This way I could hit you up if I see a show and can come out, because I've heard great things about the band, and I'd love to check you guys out.
Oh, we got such a tour going on this year. We're all over the place, buddy. We're all over the United States. We're getting ready to tool on down to Bike Week down in Daytona. We're getting, we got a big Southern tour and a Canada tour. And, I mean, anything you want to come see, we got it for you.
I appreciate it, man. I'm all over the map, too, so I'll find you guys somewhere soon and have a good gig there on Fremont.
Thanks, brother.
All right, man. Thank you. That's Dave. If you're not familiar with that band, Hairball, they do tremendously well. It's a cover tribute band, but they do very, very well, and I've been wanting to check them out, so I appreciate that phone call. So Dave throws his hat in the ring for Rock and Roll Over, the Battle of '76 there. That's an interesting one, and I do like that. We'll make a final decision here in a few minutes. Let's take a few more phone calls. By the way, Fremont Street, where Dave said his band is playing, they do free shows down there. And it's under that canopy. It's outside. It's a great place to see a show. They have cover bands. They have original bands. And a friend of mine, actually, a guy by the name of Cliff Atkinson that I got to know recently, just took over running Fremont Street. So it's in good hands. I'm sure they're going to do even bigger, greater, cooler things down there. Paul in Chicago. Go ahead, Paul.
Hey, thanks for taking my call, Eddie. I was thinking maybe best album covers.
I think we did a variation on that at one point, but it's been a long time. It's not something, doesn't necessarily mean we can't do it again. So what, like a top 5 album covers?
Yeah. Maybe, throw Iron Maiden in there and Scorpions, Love Drive. I don't know, just kicking around ideas for tomorrow.
No, I like it, Paul. I do like it. Thank you very much. I do think that's good. It's funny Paul mentions put Scorpions in there because Scorpions were very criticized for their album covers because they were viewed as being kind of Spinal Tap-ish and misogynistic. And the Love Drive album, which he just mentioned, that cover was banned in America. It was changed, and they ended up reissuing it with just a big scorpion on the cover. But initially, it was a guy in the back of a limo reaching over, grabbing a woman's breast, his hands pulling away. It's like taffy in his hand. Scorpions had very to some controversial album covers. The Virgin Killer cover was banned in the U.S. So some would say they were some of the worst covers. Others liked them and thought it was some sort of high art, Could do a worst album covers show. That would absolutely include covers by the band Riot. Amazing records, awful album covers. If you're familiar with the band Riot, their mascot was an evil seal that they called the Mighty Tior. And he was on the cover of like their first 4 or 5 records. It was kind of their answer to Iron Maiden's Eddie. And it was just ridiculous. Like so many people I've sent Riot records to or told them to check out Riot, they'll look at the cover, they're like, what are you talking about? This looks ridiculous. I'm like, do not listen with your eyes. Just put on Fire Down Under, you'll see. And then they listen to it like, holy shit. So you could go the other way with that one too. Here is Jean-Marie joining us in Montreal. What's happening, Jean-Marie? Hey.
Doing good. I'm suggesting to pit 2 albums against each other. That would be The Devil You Know and 13. Now that you know both our singers are gone, maybe we could add Fuzz in there, but I think to make it more special, maybe those 2 instead.
So the Last Sabbath album with Ozzy and the Last Sabbath album with Dio, basically.
Yeah, they're both post-reunion, both aging band.
I really like that, Jean-Marie, but here's where I don't know if it's going to work. I don't know if enough people know either of those records to really engage in a big debate. You know, both of those records did okay, but neither of them are records that I think there's a very small amount of people that know every track on those records. So I think that's where the problem might come in on that. It might exclude a lot of people because, you know, it was newer music from older bands, and I don't know how many people would be and know those records enough to get a ton of calls on them.
Well, okay, I thought I'd give it a shot maybe, but
I like the idea.
There are also songs that they put out on the the compilation. They had like more songs with Dio. On the Sabbath live album, they had like 2 songs, Psycho Man, Selling My Soul. These songs maybe people don't look into, but there's stuff out there that you could listen to that's not the old stuff.
Yeah. No, I like the idea. I'll think about it. It might need a little more time to age that one. Thank you, Jean-Marie. By the way, tying in with that, the Devil You Know is getting a reissue along with the last 2 live records that Sabbath with Dio did under the name Heaven and Hell. There's this new box set coming out. I've mentioned it a couple times. I mentioned it in news when it was announced. And I actually hit up Tony Iommi, who has come on with us for all of the Sabbath reissues, to see if he wants to come on and talk about this. And I got a word back from his manager today saying that Tony is in the final mixing stages of a new record that he's doing, and that he would he's a bit busy, but he's going to get back to me and let me know. And maybe I could also hit up Geezer, who is here in Vegas. Maybe we can get him to come into the studio too. It's been a little while since we had on Geese. I can look into that as well. But yeah, there's this reissue, repackaging of the last 3 Heaven and Hell / Sabbath with Dio releases coming in one package. Here's Rodney in Kansas. What's up, Rodney?
Hey, how's it going, Eddie?
Hey, man.
I got this idea for a show idea. It's called the Double Bubble. My theory behind it is it's called the Double Bubble.
Double Bubble.
And the theory is you take like a band like Van Halen, where they had 2 different main lead singers. You had Sammy Hagar, you had David Lee Roth, and you could only pick 2 songs per singer as your favorites out of the 2 different versions. So like with me, my David Lee Roth would be Unchained and Least Wise Magic. Those are my 2 favorites from him, just because of Eddie guitar, the drums, the vocals, everything that David had. But when it comes to Sammy, it's Pound Cake and Human Being, because Human Beings and the Twister movie is what turned me on to Sammy. And I love everything that Sammy does, but I still like David Lee for different things. And that was just an idea, because you could do the same thing with the Sabbath stuff. You could do the same thing with Iron Maiden. It's just an idea. So I thought I'd throw that out there to you.
It's not a bad idea, but it's incredibly difficult because those bands have such big catalogs. So you're asking to cut it to just 2 songs. I mean, that's rough, man.
I know. That's what you like the rough stuff.
I know.
I've been on a lot of shows like this. It's like, man, nail it down to just your 2 favorites. Again, it's just an idea, or you could open it up. It's just trying to make the show small enough where you could. It's kind of like putting the one versus the other, and it was just an idea. I was like, man, that'd be a hell of an idea, you know. But so I throw it out there to you. I appreciate everything that you do. Appreciate the show. I love everything. All these interviews, I look forward to but I learn something new every time I hear your show.
Very kind of you, Rodney.
And as a truck driver, you're the best 2 hours of my day sometimes.
Very kind of you, man. Well, drive safely. Thank you for listening. I appreciate it, all right?
All right, thank you, Eddie.
See you, man. There's Rodney. He definitely sounded like he was driving maybe with the windows open there somewhere in Kansas. Greatly appreciate that, man. It's always so nice to hear stuff like that from people, that this show provides an escape or gets them away from whatever's going on in life for a couple hours. That's what we try to do. I ran into a bunch of people last night. I went to Def Leppard and saw a bunch of people out in the casino and stuff that came up and said hello and said similar things. So it means a lot. I like his idea. It's hard, though. Hard, man. But Joel, put that on. I don't know if we'll do it tomorrow. Put that on the list, though. He called it Double Bubble. Sounds like a chewing gum. All right, we're going to run out of time here, and I can't take any more calls because we got to make a decision. Joel, what do you like? Top 5 album covers: Rock and Roll Over versus Rocks, Battle of '76, Dual Threats, 70s versus 80s, The Freaks. We never did The Freaks.
I've got 2 I'm leaning towards, and it's Top 5 Freaks or Best Dual Threats. What do you think?
Are there enough Freaks, meaning 70 plus, that are still great to make that? I think it might come down more. Could you go top 3 on that?
We could do top 3. Well, in that case, let's go to Dual Threats. Because I think also it could highlight some people that don't often get highlighted on this show. It's like, let's give them a chance to get shout out and get some recognition for the things that they do.
So Dual Threats, for clarity, is you're talking singer guitar, right? That's what the dual is.
Yeah,
Lead singer,
or if they're
or bass
drummer
player,
and singer,
guitar player,
yeah,
or
bass
keyboard player,
they
singer,
do 2 things, yeah,
drummer, singer, right?
Exactly. It doesn't have to be just guitarist and singer. It could be any other, any position in the band.
Right. I think your mind immediately goes to, and most people will, and I will, guitar player, singer. But yeah, to Joel's point, you do not have to limit to that. It's just 2 things they do extraordinarily well, one musician. So it could be keyboards, vocals. It could be drums, vocals. It could be bass, vocals. All right, you want to lock in on that? Is that what we're going to do?
Let's do it. Do you want to do top 3, top 5, or just, your favorite dual threat players?
We can do that.